Hi, good everyone. Welcome to DSN AI event. Today we are going to take you through DSN AI Bootcamp Hackathon walkthrough with Python and R. Okay, the person moderating you today is Ahmad Bajori. And so just stay put because you're going to learn whole lot of things. Like you're going to learn ranging from how to sign up to your DSN AI Bootcamp, get your unique Zindi hackathon code, download your data set, and train. Of course, you need to train and set and test your model using Python and R, and submit your data set for scoring in Zindi. So actually, whenever DSN is giving maybe a hackathon or a competition for participants to participate on it, one of the two platforms that you normally use is your Cargo platform and your Zindi platform. So just stay put. You're going to learn a whole lot of things today. But before I introduce our speakers, I need to take you through everything and some certain things about bootcamp and other related things you need to know before start jumping into it. So welcome to DSN Owerri AI Bootcamp Hackathon. Actually, like I told you, this is a walkthrough with Python and R. So these are AI community people, few of them actually that decided to take a picture and other things. So what is the bootcamp all about? Actually, the bootcamp is actually a 4-day event, like a 4-day world class. It's not just an event, actually. It's actually a world class learning where participants will come under one roof or one platform to learn and also try to analyze some data. Okay, we normally use hack. Okay, but not actually the hack that you're talking about. Okay, is actually the period where you will learn and contribute to the development of the society. So try to participate in this year's boot camp. And this year's boot camp is going to be awesome, like awesome. Believe me when I say awesome, it's going to be one of the best boot camp ever. So you'll be like, is this the first boot camp DSN have organized? No, this is not actually the first boot camp. They've organized a boot camp. Actually, these pictures are the pictures gotten from 2017 boot camp, which I was one of the participants, one of attendees actually. So this is what the boot camp. You see the number of participants we had, although we couldn't capture everybody, but this is actually what the number of participants we have, and you can see there are great men, great women under the same roof to try to produce or get one or two things from grant. And this is our boss, Mr. Bayo, um, the main head behind Data Science Nigeria. So, and this is the participants from Owerri. That's actually my first time of participating in bootcamp. So it was really awesome. I must say, it was really awesome. And so anybody can actually participate. Look at the winner for that 2017 bootcamp. And lots more. Some people have been winning. They have 2017, 2018, 2019. 2020 is like they also have things there. So now, who can participate in this bootcamp? You can participate in this bootcamp. Hence, you have the passion and the zeal to learn and also to contribute to the society. So you can participate in this bootcamp. Just about bringing what you've learned in data set. When they are doing the training for data, AI, data science, and all those things. So putting that knowledge you got then in practice in trying to develop a world-class application. So you can participate, hence you have the passion to participate and all those things. So let me bring us back to the main thing. Now you already know what the bootcamp is all about and those that can participate in the bootcamp. Let me take this opportunity to invite a speaker for the event because you need to go straight to what you need to go straight to what we have at hand. So, but don't forget, one of the things you shouldn't forget actually is don't forget to drop your question on the comment section or the chat box and also ask the question where appropriately. So um, somebody will be there to attend to you or just drop your question there. After the session, the speaker for that particular question will attend to the question. Okay, thank you. So let's make welcome Mr. Chuka Dean because he'll be taking this session now. Chuka, welcome on board. Thank you for joining us. So the floor is yours.
All right, I would love to thank Joy for doing a very great job introducing us to this session. So, as said, my name is Chuka Dean, and I am the DSN University lead. All right, so I'm simply going to do, or what I'm simply going to do, is just to take you through the steps you can take to improve your machine learning model. Because I'm sure that most of you or most of us are already working on the hackathon and trying to improve our performance. So we would love to know what we are doing right and what we are not doing right. So I'll briefly go through what you can do to make your model perform better on the leaderboard and perform better with its prediction. All right, now the first thing on my list is that you should cross validate. Now, I think this comes a long way in helping prevent you overfit your data. So what do I mean by that? You cross validate so that your model would perform well in out of sample data because sometimes you might just kind of train your model and it performs so well when you use it on the train data set. So most like when you split your data into maybe 70-20 or 70-30 or 80-20, it performs well in sample data. But when you want to test it on the test data set, kinds of the performance drops, and you'll be asking yourself why is this so? Well, there might be an issue of overfitting. Now I'll just mention two things that could cause that. All right. So the first thing that could cause that is that you might be unintentionally leaking your test data to your trained data. So what do I mean by that? Sometimes you may want to scale your data even after you've splitted your data into train and test. You end up scaling the whole data, that is both the train and test combined. So when you now want to you know train that model, for the fact that you had already like induced some information about the test data to the train data portion of your whole data, there's going to be a level of overfitting, which would make the performance on your in sample training or in sample testing to be greater than your out of sample testing. So you would want to cross validate your in sample testing or your in sample data to check for overfitting. So this is one thing you may want to do to improve your model. All right, so that is it for cross validation. The next thing you can do to improve the performance of your model is choosing the right hyper parameters. So what does this simply mean? Sometimes when you if you use Python or R and you just like import a model to use, it comes with its default parameter settings. But these default parameter settings might not actually be the best out there that you can use. So you might want to, run through a range of parameter values and select the one that performed best amongst it, because that would simply mean that your model would do a better job in helping with prediction. So that is also a good thing you can do. So hyperparameter tuning is one way you can go to improve your model. All right. Now, something else you might want to do if you are not doing that already is to explore other models, because machine learning is all about experimentation, right? And you will not want to just get stuck on one model trying to maybe improve the parameters you are using, while there might even be a simpler model, or a kind of a different model that can even give you a better result. So come on, you can just explore different models, check their performance. You can use an ROC curve, or you can just use a summary, a performance summary statistics, and check the one that does well and try it out to see if it improves your performance. Now, one thing you can also do is to leverage two or more models. So what does this mean? You can decide to maybe combine a complex model with a simple model, just to combine their predictive power, and even get a model that performs better than each of them, because this will just enable you to be able to cancel out the noise and promote the signal. So sometimes it's not using just one model may not be the best. You might want to combine two models or three models, and you could also stack your models. So what this simply means is you could use the prediction from maybe your first model, use that as input to the second model, and check, and just to improve your performance, and check if the performance actually improved. So depending on the context, so some contexts are against you sourcing data from outside sources, but one thing you always know is that collecting, the more the data, the more the valuable data, the better the algorithm is in predicting new outcomes. So if you can find similar data somewhere, maybe open source or stuff like that, then obviously it's going to also improve your performance. So I think I've briefly gone through some steps you can take to improve your model. I hope that you'll be able to apply these insights to better improve your performance on the leaderboard. So thank you very much for your time. And once I take you through how you can register for the bootcamp and join the hackathon, Augustine will take you through how to um, work on the hackathon with Python, and then follow. I will now conclude on how to work on the hackathon with R. So just sit tight and flow through this with us. Thank you. On the screen here, you can see the Data Science Nigeria AI Bootcamp 2020 Qualification Hackathon registration form. And you need to fill this form to get a unique code which you would use to join the Zindi hackathon. So this hackathon on Zindi, you are going to be working on the Coope Math credit default prediction. So you are going to be working on a credit default prediction problem. And this hackathon would run from 9th of September till 3rd of October. So the hackathon is already ongoing. And if you've not joined, then you need to do so ASAP. So to join, all you need to do is just to input your email. So here I'll just input my email. All right. Then The next thing you need to do is to answer a few questions. So your full name, your phone number, input your AI plus membership ID, then your country. Okay, so once you are done, so let me just quickly input this. Then after that, I would input my DSN membership number, which I'll just which I'll so you would input your own when you be filling the form. Then I'll select my country. Alright, so the next thing is to choose your current location. So here I'll be choosing Imo Owerri. When you're done, you key in your Zindi username. So this username is the username you assign to yourself when you are creating your Zindi account. And if you don't have a Zindi account, then you need to go to the Zindi website to create one. So you can key it in here. And to go to the website, you just go to Google, search for Zindi. This is their site. So that's the first thing that comes up. Zindi Africa. You click on it and you'll be given an opportunity to sign up. But since I'm already signed, that's why it's already logged me in. But if you don't have an account yet, you just click sign up and fill a short form. Then your account will be created. So here now my username, as you can see, is this. So I'll just copy it, come to the format, put it in. So the next thing you do is to, so if you are depending on your Dsn Ai Plus community and depending on where you are, so you select your community or your Dsn Ai Plus campus community or city community. So here I'll be clicking the city community of AI Plus Owerri. And if you don't have, or if you've not joined any community yet, just you can join a community closest to you where you live or where you school. And to join a community, they all have their Twitter handles online. So you just search for their Twitter page and fill the form and join. So you can just choose maybe the one that is closest to you here. And I'm done. As you can see, just a simple form for one to fill. So I'll submit and await my unique code. Alright. So as you can see here, it says thanks you for submitting the form. So this is the secret code which I'm actually going to block because as you know is a secret code. So once you fill the form, you will see the code which you're required to log in. So this is the code you use to join the hackathon. So I would click this to now take me to the hackathon page on Zindi, and I'll click join hackathon, and then to require my secret code, and I'll paste it, and then I've joined the hackathon, as you can see. So in this page, you would see the description of the hackathon. So it's just talking about what the challenge is about. So Mart is a Nigerian-based retail company that provides quality good education and eradicated this on card payment and stuff like that. So what they are simply asking you to do is to leverage machine learning to predict customers who are likely to default or not. So that is to default on credit. Okay, all right. Because here they partnered with DSN Bank on a on DS Bank on co-branded credit card with additional functionalities so that customers can request for loan to pay for goods. So they don't want when a customer comes now and pay for a good with a credit card, the customer will not repay because they'll be losing money doing that. So they want to only give these loans or these goods on credit to the right customers. So here you just read through the rules and get yourself acquainted with the rules. And here they said there is no private leaderboard for this challenge, which makes it quite interesting in a way. But and this so your error metric here, the area under the code. So you just go through this to know what it entails. And the top 250 participants would be affiliated to the bootcamp. So this is the data set. So this is the test data set, this is the train, this is the sample submission. So here the test is what you use. Sorry, the train is what you use to train a model, obviously, and the test is what you use to test the model that you trained. So this just gives you the description of the data. So what you just need to do is to download this. So you can see the leaderboard here. So currently we have over okay, so we have so many people have already joined the um, hackathon. And one good thing you can do is you could also add your school or your city beside your profile so that you can show just like how this one is Aminu Israel Lagos State University, so you can show beside your name if you want to do so. And to do so you just simply go to your profile to add it. So you can just come here just to help more with your identity. So let me see, just click on edit and you add your, so you just come here to and click show in profile. You add your school and click show in profile so that people know which state or which city you are representing. Okay, so I'll download the data set and start and import it to my ID. Just click on it and it will start downloading. Click on this and it start downloading. Click on this. So I think I'll stop here and I'll leave Augustine to come up and show you how to use these data sets on your Python and your Jupyter notebook and your Python IDE and work on it. So I think we run a simple model just to show you how to work on the data set and submit it for scoring on Zindi. Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's section. I am Austin and I'll be walking you through training a model and making a submission on Zindi for the AI Bootcamp Qualification Hackathon. Over here is a data dictionary of all the columns in the data. It aims to describe what each column means, what each attribute in the column means. And we can see the target future is a yes or a no. So this tells us that this is a classification problem. So let's begin. First I import modules I'm using, then I read in the data. I read in both data here, the train data and the test data. And I also save the length of the train data in this variable. Now you can see the length of the train data is actually 56,000. We go ahead and take a look at our train data. You can see that there are missing values and that some columns have strings. Also take a look at the tests. Look at the test is the same thing, but the test is missing the last column, which is the default status. So our aim is to give this test the default status column to tell our employers, whether a client will default on a loan or not. I create a data frame of both the train and the test data. This is to aid me going forward when I have to clean the data and make some analysis. It helps me make sure I have all my data. So I'm going to clean all my data at the same time, and I'm going to analyze with all the data I have so that I can gain some nice insights on data as a whole. So I also take a look at the information for each column. So you can see that we have 80,000 rows, and we also notice that most rows do not have up to 80,000 entries. So that means that most of our columns have missing data. So the fun of this challenge now for you is to find the best way to impute this missing data. And we also notice that there are 3 columns that have types of objects. Objects in pandas is a catch-all kind of data type. So it catches all data type that the underlying backend could not pass into appropriate data types. So one of them is actually the font 47, another is the default status, another is the applicant ID. So we take a look and see what these columns have. You see that form field actually has mostly 2 values, which is lending and charge. And default status also has 2 values, which are yes or no. And also has some NaNs. This NaNs is as a result of our concatenating the test and train data together, because as you recall, the test data does not have a default status column. So pandas give it NaNs for each row in the test data that doesn't have a corresponding default status value. In this line, I change the type of our all df to type of category. Let me separate this so that you see what happens at each step. So after doing this, I can now show you an info, and you will see that these 2 columns will change from a type of objects to categories. The form 47 and the default status, they are now of type category. And why I did this is to gain some performance boosting, and also to use an interesting function in pandas which can be accessed using the CAT accessor. This CAT accessor is only available for categorical typed column series. The same way that we have the .dt accessor for datetime series and the .str for string, for columns that hold string data. So this codes function actually label encodes the values in this series. So it turns them to integers between 0 and the number of distinct entries in this series. We can now take a look at that, and we can see that we now have, instead of having them as strings of lending, charge, no, yes, we now have them as integers of 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. So 0 is for charging, 1 is lending. And 0 default means no, the client didn't default on the credit. -1 is as a result of those NAN numbers. So Pandas was smart enough to assign them to a value of -1. And of course, the default status also has a 1 for clients that defaulted. I wouldn't be particularly handling techniques to deal with the missing data. So here I just imputed all missing values with this number, and this is so that our model would treat the value as an outlier. I also dropped the applicant ID. So now our ODF column, our ODF data frame is just a data frame of values. The values that we hope will help us make a prediction on whether our client would default or not. Our target value, as we saw in the data dictionary, is the default status. So I pop this from the data frame into this variable. So if you take a look at our ODF, it's just a data frame of numbers, data frame of values that hopefully will help us make a prediction. Here I try to visualize our target. We can see that a vast majority of clients do not default on their credit cards, and only about 13,000 actually default. Where we can be sure of the numbers by doing a value count. This -1 again corresponds to the test data. So 42,000 plus means defaults and 13,000 defaulted. So the data is skewed towards one class, and that is usually normal for a classification problem. So it's also something we should keep in mind when training and evaluating our model. So here I take the values that I will be using to train our model, which is actually the data in the train DF, in the train data frame that we read in at the beginning. So here I select the data from the first row to the length of the original train data, which was 56,000. We can also confirm that by taking a length of our train, 56,000. So we take from the first row to the 56,000th row, and I use this copy so that I'll return a value and not a reference to this data frame. If I just did this, it will return a reference to the data frame. So whatever change we make on X is also made on our ODF, but I don't actually want that. So I use this. And I take from where our train data ends to the end, which happens to be our testing data. Sorry, I didn't run the cell above. So here we go. So X is the value we will feed into the model, and the model needs a target, which is Y. So our model tries to learn features in each row that makes it either a 1 or a 0. So it uses the attributes of each row to try and predict why it is a 1 or 0, and learns these rules and now uses it to make a prediction on a new data. So here also we take our Y's for our training data. In this block of code, in this cell of code, I import all needed modules for our tags. I'll be using the random forest classifier, and the train test split is to split our data into our training set and our validation set. I run this, then I run splitting. I use the random state so that we will get the same value, and 20% of our data is going to be used for validation. Here I instantiate the random forest class and I fit the data on it. Njobs parameter, this helps to parallelize the processing on all CPUs on my computer. Then the random state is so that yet again we will have the same score, hopefully. So after training the model, which is fitting the data on it, so now a random forest is a collection of decision trees. So it builds a graph tree of nodes and leaves that tries to create a relationship between the attribute and the value. So what it does is it tries to answer the question, given these attributes, would our client default or not? So we use the rules learned by our random forest to make a prediction on the validation set. And this validation set is the X test, and if we run this below, you will see that what this function actually does is to return an array of values, where the zeroth is for the negative class and this is for the positive class. So the first row has a 36% possibility of defaulting, and so on. And the ROCAUC function, the function definition says it needs the Y true, which is this, and Y score. And Y score is actually the probability of the positive class, which is why in this cell above here, I get the probability of the positive class by taking all rows and taking the second value, which is 1, using indexing into the array. So I now calculate the score, and we get a 0.823. It's not the best score, but we can use this as a base model to try and improve and get a better score. So now I'm going to be making my prediction. Let's take a look at our test df again. Recall that it is just a data frame of values, and our aim is to give it a default status column. So for each role, we are to predict whether the client will default or not. We make use of the predict prober function again, but this time on the test data frame. So we predict this spreads now should be a series of values. So this is 46% chance of defaulting, 4% chance of defaulting, and so on. 40% chance of defaulting. To create my submission file, I would be using the sample submission that was provided to us on Zindi, and this is how it looks. It has only 2 columns, applicant ID and default status. So what Zindi needs is our own predictions for default status. So I would be assigning a new value to this column, and this is what I do here. If we take a look at, let me run this cell above. If we take a look at ss.head, you would see that it is this, and this function now saves our data frame, this data frame, as a CSV file on our disk. So here we can see seconds ago a new file was created, which is sample submission. If you take a look at this file, we can see what it is. The same thing that was here, 0.46, 0.40, 0.46, 0.4. So now we have our submission file. So we'll be making the submission now with Zindi. Coming over to Zindi, we hit on the submit, and this takes us to this page that asks us to drop a file. Click on it, go to our system, select the submission file, the file, and you can add a comment, sample submission file, then you click on submit. The moment of truth. And that is all for today. Thank you for having me. Do have a nice day.
Okay, thank you, Augustine, for the awesome session. Check the chat box. There are some questions asked, so you can attend to them there. Now let's welcome Chuka back to continue the session because there are some certain things he couldn't touch, and so you need to conclude before we call it a day. So Chuka, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you very much. So I'm just going to walk you through how you can do this with R. But the stuff here is when it comes to machine learning, Python is a better tool because R is mostly used in the academic field. So mostly when you want to, you know, just generate statistical tables and do some simple data manipulation. Because when it comes to working with large files like this one we even have here, you tend to come upon memory issues because R tends to load these processes in your RAM. So that is why I even had to use Google Colab to be able to run this simple model. So I will advise Python when you want to work with this problem. But let me just go through for those who are very good with R or who would want to use R. I would. So we have the Kerat library in R that is a very good one for machine learning. So you need to install your packages, then you load the trained data set to your um, IDE. So once you've loaded it, you check if they are missing value. So like when I run this now, it just shows me. So let me just quickly run this and you see what I'm talking about. So I'm running this on Google Colab because it was throwing memory limit issue on my RStudio, which I was not even able to solve. So you can see that this is the number of missing values. So there are a whole lot of missing values here. So what I did here was to partition. So you use the create data partition function to split your data into train and test. So I did it in a 70-30 ratio. So here's my training set and this is my testing set. Then I filled in the missing value with this so that the model will see it as an outlier. Then after that, I just kind of coded the yes to 1 and the no to 0. And here I just remove the applicant ID column for the training dataset. So this is more like a data cleaning process. Then here I use the SVM, support vector machine, and to train. But obviously you can do a whole lot better here. But as I said, this stuff takes a whole lot of memory when you do it with R. Python is much better for that. So let me just show you the confusion matrix of this model before I round up. So if I select this, so for the training, so I will explain some stuff here, how you can interpret your confusion start. Okay, so let me print it. Alright, so here you can see that um, here it said that a person defaulted in the loan. The person actually defaulted in the loan. That is Z00, row 1, column 1. So you got it right 28,431 times and wrong 7,492. Why this? It said person will not default. Person actually defaults. Actually defaulted 1,169 times. This is actually a poor model that can be improved. So we have true positive, we have false negatives. So here when we have false positives. So here when I say false positives, so you can see something like this here now, where it says the person would actually would pay the loan, but it was false. Good. So you can improve this and use it to predict the train the test data to be able to submit it on Zindi. So thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you very much, Chika, for that session. Um, so I believe by now you will be able to push your code to Zindi, to Cargo and Zindi to get your score. And you plan to also how to train and test your model to get the actual final result that you expected. So happy hacking. Okay, welcome to the bootcamp once again. We'll leave you here. Remember to drop your question. You can reach out to Chuka or Austin, or you also reach out to them also via or at datasciencenigeria.ai. We will be available to respond to your questions and other things. Remember to join the WhatsApp group chat. Drop your comments, or if you're interested to join the WhatsApp group chat, we'll be happy to add you up there. Thank you for this session. Have a nice day. Bye.